Hey everybody, how's it going? So today I am here live with Jessa Jones at iPad Rehab. She teaches a course at iPad Rehab. She is in one of those parts of New York City where the internet only gives you about 20 pixels at a time. I think you can make her out there on the left side of the screen. Jessa, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, and we're here with Mark. Here's Mark, the amazing Mark Schaefer, who is up here to teach microsoldering repair when the big news came out today. And we've already been having fun. Did you hear what I did while I was waiting for you to eat dinner? I will tell you.
Tell me what you were doing, Jessa.
I wanted to make history. I wanted to be the one that would finally get those old curmudgeonly guys over at Apple Support Community Forum, where I am banned, to finally admit that anybody can fix an iPhone. So I tried to do it, and I submitted my question to force them to answer. And the question said, will I be able to replace the screen myself on my iPhone 13? I'm thinking about getting one this January, and I don't want to buy it unless I can do it myself. And guess what they did?
What?
They deleted it.
Obviously.
So I failed in my mission to get the rule followers over at the Apple Support Community Forum. Giant fail, but hopefully somebody will take up that.
They haven't learned how to talk about it yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, they're probably freaking out. All right. Speaking of freaking out, I wanted to show you something that I think you haven't seen before. So I'm going to figure out how to do that. So can you see, where is it? This might be hard to find now. Let's see. Not that, not this. This is a thumbnail, not that.
I think Apple took your pixels away.
Oh, here it is. All right. Can you see this? Do I have to screen share again?
No, I got it. I'm going to add it. One moment. I got to hit a button.
All right,
I got to hit a button. Button. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, what do we got here? I see it.
All right, so this is from the FTC. So remember the whole Nixing the Fix workshop. So before we worked with Richard to make the FTC complaint, this was from their research that they did. This was some of the information that they had years ago. They got their hands on this internal Apple document that I always thought was really interesting, because if you read it, it's too long to read out loud, but we can read some parts of it. It really shows what it's like on the inside of Apple when they are floundering about right to repair stuff. So they knew that there was an article coming out like the next day in the New York Times that was pro right to repair. So they're like, what should we say about it? What should we say about it? What's our stance? How should our public position on right to repair change to take into account the fact that we've got this IRP program, blah, blah, blah. And so it's really funny just to read this. So it's a bunch of internal email exchange. And it's funny that, one of them is like, the larger issue is that our strategy all around of this is unclear. Right now, we're talking out of both sides of our mouth, and no one is clear on where we're headed. Lori's going to check with the New York Times, and we gotta figure out how we want to play this. How do we want to play this? Like it's a giant game, and nothing makes that more clear than this document. I mean, look at this. They're like, we're searching for the right strategy. This is all public now because it is part of the FTC's complaint, right? So then they start trying to put together what they're going to say. So here's one that I like. Okay, what are we going to say? If it's for the editorial page, we could tell the reporter, what are we going to say to him? We could give him like our high level point of view on background, and we will refute any suggestions that we design for obsolescence. I would suggest that we say broader points that emphasize safety. Like, for example, we could say, look what happens when a Wired reporter tried to open his iPhone with a screwdriver. We could say explosions happen at landfills and recycling centers all the time because of improper disposal of electronics. But on Bing, and anecdotally, Mark, as you know, Many of the safety incidents reported with mobile phones are related to faulty repairs. So we'll throw that in there. Like they're coming up with this, and they're like talking about how do we spin, which is crazy. And so then it goes on and on and on. My favorite part is here at the end, where there's two versions here. I hope you can see this. There's two versions where version 1 is the team's suggestion of what the Apple's official statements. They've drafted it up. Here it is.
Which one is which? Because I only see the big. Which email am I looking at here, Jessa?
Are you looking at my screen?
I am, but you stopped it halfway between two emails. So like when you said there's two versions, which is version 1, which is version 2?
The one that says at Apple, version 1.
At Apple, customer satisfaction and safety are a top priority. We work hard to provide our customers access to safe and reliable service when their Apple products need repair. In the last 2 years alone, we've quadrupled the number of locations offering iPhone screen repairs. There are now more than 5,000 locations worldwide offering repairs by trained technicians who use parts certified for safety and quality. We are continuously evaluating our programs, and we are committed to making service more convenient for our customers. Is that version 1 or 2?
That is version... I think there's maybe there's another one, but here's what I think is the funniest part of it is that they say, proposed revised version based on Tim's feedback. Let us know what you think. And so the only difference between Tim's version and the former version is the addition of them saying there are nearly 5,000 locations owned and operated by third parties, offering repairs by trained technicians. That owned and operated by a third party was not there before. So it's really interesting how it's a game that they're playing, but some people inside Apple seem to be on the pro repair team. Like Tim Cook,
Very nice.
How he's putting in there, he's clarifying that repair is done by third parties. Don't you think? Unless that's the wrong Tim. I don't know.
I'm sure it was Tim Apple.
Tim Apple said, yeah, I don't know. So, Louis, what do you think of the big news? You can turn off that email.
I mean, I think the same thing that you think. I think the same thing you think. It's gonna be a joke. I mean, it's gonna be like the IRP program where you can buy a screen to an iPhone 6, but it's gonna cost you $117. And by the way, an iPhone 6 is $80 on eBay at the time that came out. Or it's you can
$199.
Yeah, I mean, or like you could buy a you can buy a screen to a MacBook, but it's gonna be the entire assembly, and that's gonna be a year and a half from now, and it's probably gonna be $800. Like most of the IRP program is worthless. Do you get access to schematics? No. Do you get access to diagrams? No. Do you get access to chips? No. Do you get access to a charge port to an iPhone? No. And you need to fix charge ports on iPhones. It's a basic repair. So if they're modeling this off of the IRP program, and the more the language that I read makes it sound like they are, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a program that really is very useful.
All right, I got two questions. How will they handle the following two things that are extremely important to Apple? Number one, the requirement before you open any phone to have 6 to 8 pounds of sand nearby. That is absolutely required. You cannot touch a battery unless you have sand. You may remember that we had a trash can that was labeled sand, lots of sand, meter sand, lots of sand. Number two, similarly, just as important as the sand for any Apple authorized repair is the dongle. That's what this is all about. How will they let Mark replace an iPhone 12 screen with the Face ID dot projector that's encrypted? How is he going to be allowed to pair that to the motherboard? This is amazing. They've what do you think they're going to do? How are they going to make it so that I can pair my new Touch ID sensor like they do with the Apple Store?
I don't think that they are. This one person said, what if they disable parts by disabling the entire phone? So, for instance, you would need the phone itself would have to be enabled in order for the parts to work. Someone has proposed something like that, where if the phone is enabled versus if it's disabled, you're not going to be able to take apart and make it work. But if the phone is enabled, you'd be allowed to change a fingerprint sensor and have it work and be able to use the pairing tool. There's a couple of different ways I think you could do that.
So that sounds like you're saying that this is a This is a veil where really it's going to end up being more locked down, because right now they have they do try to make things work. For example, iPhone 13 comes out, you can't swap the screen without losing Face ID. What do? They change it so that you can, because they can't stand the bad press of that. And that's not the first time this has happened. If you go back in time, iPhone 8 aftermarket screens would work, and then there was an iOS update so that those screens couldn't talk to their own touch chips anymore because they were aftermarket touch chips, so they stopped having touch. What did Apple do? They fixed it. They made it so those aftermarket screens work because they couldn't withstand the bad press of, hey, my perfectly working phone quit. I mean, what did they do to Error 53? With enough pressure, if there's enough news, there's a big spotlight, they are very pro repair because they can't stand the bad press.
Is that really pro repair, or is it just taking out an impediment that they artificially placed to begin with?
Well, I mean, no, they're not pro repair. They're definitely not pro repair, but they're pro good press. They're very pro good press. As you can see from that whole email exchange, all they care about is their perception. How do we spin this? What do we say? What makes us look good? It's a strategy game.
I think it is a strategy game. At the end of the day, people are going to read the headlines, which is, we made parts and manuals available. Look at the site. We have a list of parts. And then when I bring up all those parts, you're missing an earpiece to a phone, you're missing a charge port to an iPhone, you're missing a keyboard and a trackpad to a MacBook. When I point out all the crap that's missing, they're just going to say, oh, he's just complaining. Look, Apple's doing their best to comply. It's going to, because almost every issue comes down to a he said, she said, and it's a wash. If you don't understand an issue, you may look at this side and that side and go, it's a wash. They don't have to actually provide a solution to independent repair shops. They need to provide just enough that the average person looking, whether they're a customer, a voter, a congressperson, can go, it's a wash. I'm not going to do anything.
I think, though, that it's really a validation of repair shops. I mean, if I'm an individual user and I've looked around, I've been convinced that you can't even open your phone because it's got this weird screw that I don't even have. So I need to take it to the guys with the white coats in the fancy lab because I've been convinced that I'll void my warranty. Now they're just so completely reversing that and saying, you don't need to even go to a store. You can do this in your kitchen. In fact, here's a graphic of a weird, did you see those graphics? Those are some weird graphics in their news release. Here's a graphic of somebody with giant shoulders and long fingernails being able to fix their phone in their kitchen. That validates the concept of repair. It makes a customer think, well, I mean, I don't want to do it myself, but if it's that easy, I'm going to go down to the guy down the street. I think it's a huge validation of independent repair. Don't you think?
Is it a validation of independent repair if this is being released to end consumers, not repair shops? Because they've already done the IRP program for independent repair shops. Also, this guy said screens come with the home button and Face ID, earflex pre-installed. You use system configuration via Diagnostic console. They'll have to log in with credentials. I wonder how they're going to manage that for end users.
Right. That's the whole point. Like, that is how it is now. Right now, those screens come with new Face ID, all that stuff. So you have to turn the fewest screws as possible. And then you have to log in to the GSX. So what are they going to do? Anybody with a non-banned, Apple ID is going to, be able to do that? What about privacy? Remember how IRP is like, we need to know everybody's name, social security number, date of birth in order to know who's getting what screens, and we got to get the parts back or you're going to pay full price? Is there... is there a security concern?
That was bullshit to begin with. If anything, the security concern is with storing all this customer's information and reporting it to the manufacturer when it's none of their business.
Well, I think they're going to do that now.
The device for.
Don't you think that they're likely to keep all that information? How are they going to handle that security? Who's going to be in charge of that?
What security?
Of your personal of my personal data when I order yet another iPhone 13 screen. How many am I allowed to order? Can I forever? What's up with warranty? How are they going to handle that? Like they're basically saying we're iFixit now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I used to run a parts company, and it blew up horribly. I had so many people returning screens where they would rip the flex cable, they would buy the wrong one. They bought the wrong one, so they tried installing it upside down and then bending the screen board over it to try to make everything fit. And they're entering that market now, and I imagine they're either A, going to have the, we're just going to fellatio every customer that complains so that they don't leave a 1-star review type of customer service, or B, they're just going to have to charge so much money that the people that don't break it subsidize the people who do break it. Like iFixit when they were selling $55 iPhone 3G screens, which I still am salty about.
But even now, like, it's way easier to break a screen. Like, one of the students here was, broken iPhone XS Max screen inadvertently. I've done it before, just not realizing that pressing on the bottom of it makes that thing not work. It's totally black. Like, I can't imagine. I can't even. I'm afraid for Apple right now. I'm afraid for how they would possibly handle the DIY level of this iPhone 13 screen is totally black when I plugged it in.
It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. What would have made sense is if they sold the parts to a company, and that company sold to the end consumer, and that company that sold to the end consumer had to deal with all the customer service and other bullshit issues.
Like if they just sold screens to iFixit, like Motorola does or whoever.
Yeah, like when I used to buy screens, I used to wire money to somebody, and there's no chargeback. There's no customer service. There's no nothing. I wire the money. I get the stuff. If it doesn't work, I'm screwed. If my customer breaks it, they don't care. And then I set a price that allows me to deal with it. So if I'm buying a screen at $35 a piece, I sell it at $53 a piece. So when they break in the mail or a customer destroys it or some of them don't work, my profit margin kind of covers it. And the company who's selling it to me is kind of insulated from that experience of having to deal with chargebacks and customer service and warranty and all that stuff. That would, I really fun. I don't know if Apple is necessarily prepared for the direct-to-consumer model, or like just how. No, it sucks selling parts to individual consumers. Like, I did it for years, and it sucks. It's just, especially shit that breaks easy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where if you think, why haven't they been doing this all along?
This is a silly comment. Why are we worrying about the liability for Apple? They can just make you agree to terms for parts. No, they can. No, it doesn't matter what the TOS is on your website. When you call the little 800 number on the back of the credit card, they give you your money back. Like, that's the way this works. You call that 800 number on the back of your credit card, you get your money back. You can have at the end of the day, you are speaking to somebody in India who barely understands what you're saying, and that person reading off a script is going to decide whether to click the proper button that allows you to get your money back. That's the way chargebacks work. And
yeah, Louis is going to go in a new direction on his channel. Uncle Louis teaches everyone how to file that chargeback on their debugged Apple screen.
I am not sunny.
Coming soon. Oh no, that video is coming. I guarantee it. Mark my words. In 1 year from now, there will be a Louis video that instructs people how to charge back those, defective Apple screens that they broke. I betcha. Oh, I don't know. Did you read Maddie Stone's article in The Verge?
I don't read The Verge by matter of principle.
Well,
tell me.
Maddie is my beloved reporter. She has a PhD. She came up here and sat with me for a whole day and was just one of my favorite people that's ever come to do any kind of media anything. And she wrote this really awesome article. Today, her article is about why did Apple do this. So check it out.
Oh, I'd love to see how they deal with nightstand attack. What is nightstand?
Yes. Death by nightstand. I mean, it happens all the time. You put on the new screen, nightstand kills it.
Oh, you mean where people claim it cracked on its own?
Yes.
LOL. This encourages end users to pay extra for whole assembly and do it yourself instead of pay a shop skilled labor and get the right parts they need. I mean, you can go to eBay and buy parts right now. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, I don't think you're going to say Apple.com does not have the part for me, therefore I'm not going to fix it. If you want to do it, you're just going to search on Google, you click the first person that's available, that has decent reviews, and you buy it.
Right. But it validates that you can try it. So what I think it's going to be is a is a troll by Apple that's like, go ahead, try and fix this phone. This is an iPhone 12. Ain't nobody fixing that. Try to get that screen out. Good luck, because if you don't get it out intact, we're not going to give you the discount because we can't refurbish that cracked LCD or the cracked OLED. We can't do that, so it's going to be on you. So is it kind of a joke because it is challenging to get these screens apart? I don't know how they're possibly going to, are they going to make you do what they do to AASP? If you're AASP, you have to spend like $2,000 to get your sand and your special gloves and your ESD wrist strap and all of this ridiculous little tray for your phone to go in and the right screwdrivers. They're not gonna be selling the little 5-cent Chinese screwdriver kits that all the other screen guys have. Are they gonna make you invest? First, you got to buy the $2,000 installation kit, and then you got to spend $600 on this iPhone 12 screen. I mean, iPhone 12 screens are no joke.
How many Apple stores actually have sand in them? Do they have that at the Genius Bar?
Yes. In fact, let's do that video. Let's go down and
does it say
the sand.
Is it in the manual, or do they actually do it? Because I know
it's required. It couldn't be more serious.
I can't tell if you're joking or not. Okay, I know it says that in the manual. If I were to go to an Apple store, is there actual sand there?
Yes, 100%.
Outside of what fell out of Tim Cook's vagina?
No, they are very serious. You may have missed the video that Mark and I did where we read the Atlas, not manual, but the actual here's how to change a battery instructions that we used because we had to pass the certification exam. You know that I'm an Apple certified iOS technician now, right? Because I
Do you have sand?
Yes, of course. Lots of sand. Give me
That's a garbage pail. That's not sand.
No, it's not. It's sand. It's full of sand.
I don't believe this.
It's heavy. There we go. See? Sand. Oh, it's heavy here, Mark. Put the sand down. Oh!
You're fucking with me. That's an empty trash can.
No, it's not. Sand. It's full of sand. You can ask anybody that's ever been here that we have sand. Lots of sand. You can't operate.
So you just toss the battery in there if it goes on fire.
Yes. Absolutely. As we've done many times. You'll notice that at our shop, we don't have burn marks on the floor, unlike some other shops.
Those are not burn marks. Those are tread marks from my electric bicycle tire.
Okay. We don't have videos on the internet of our own employees with a security camera blowing up MacBooks and catching them on fire because of this.
No, they would still go on fire even with the sand.
Okay. Well, we'll just pitch them in there. We wouldn't freak out. It's perfectly safe. Will they? This is the main thing I want to. Here's how you know sand is important. All right, share my screen again. Hold on. It's coming. Hold on. I'm not ready. I gotta figure it out.
It's okay. I see the porn you have up. I'm not gonna click it just yet.
Okay, hold on.
The porn is gone.
Okay, here we go. I'm ready. Okay, this is how you know how important sand is, Louis. This is Apple.com. This is the big announcement. Now let's scroll. Now let's look at the graphic. Okay, tell me what you notice here in the bottom corner.
I have to move this around a little. Well, my God, it's fucking sand.
Yes! Yeah, see? Even in their graphics for a news report. Yeah, news report.
Yeah, you're going to have to add that to your standard kitchen equipment.
Yes.
You got your microwave, you got your utensils, you got your sand.
I mean, this graphic is saying like a couple things, which is number one, this is going to be expensive. You're going to have to buy several pounds of sand shipped in addition to your screen. You're going to have to look how they drew in the little ESD thing. And our radioactive batteries are going to make you grow massive shoulders.
Their suction cuppy opener thing.
Yeah, the suction cuppy opener thing. And then you're going to grow long, giant fingers and your face is going to shrink down.
Safety glasses.
Yeah, the safety glasses. You're going to have to buy those safety glasses and that sand for sure. Or some kind of proof of sand or something like that. I don't know. this is very serious, right? Let's scroll down. I mean, look at
Still got sand on the desk.
what's on this guy's desk.
All of the important tools.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is what you're going to have to buy. You're going to have to pay money. All right, here's another Louis video that will exist in 1 year from now. A rant about the ridiculous nonsense of making end users buy those ridiculous safety glasses every time they want to fix their own iPhone 12 screen. I like the choice of footwear that they went with. You guys are just like chilling in some
casual repairs.
It's the show that it's being done. The repair is being done in somebody's home, not just at a repair shop.
Yeah, just don't drop the screwdriver.
What is that person going to connect that ESD strap to?
The sand.
I mean, seriously, and the massive shoulders thing. Like, I'm concerned.
She's getting ready to put it around her neck and clip it to the sand because that's how you wear them.
I mean, there's nothing in that figure that she could clip it to that is actually the ground, right? She's on carpet. She's clearly on carpet.
She's in a white void.
I don't know. All right, then what's going on here? Oh, you get the big feet. What? Why are these people so malformed? It's like only freaks would actually attempt to fix their phone. Do you have giant feet? Here's an iPhone 13 screen for you. I mean, that's what it seems like. Let's do share article. Where can we comment on it? Would you send an email to Nick that go? I'm going to do this. I'm going to send an email right now to Nick and ask him if fixing my own screen will make my shoulders become enormous and my feet.
You need to wait until you get your first iPhone fixing kit from Apple in the mail and then send him an email and ask him if they have any larger ESD straps, because the one they sent doesn't fit around your neck the way it's supposed to. It's a little too tight.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how to make that stop. All right. Make that minus.
Get him out of there.
Okay. What else was on here, though? Oh, geez. Now I messed up. I want to know, what does chat think is going to happen? So community chat. Let's see. It's almost as if they're trying to subconsciously convey that freaks fix. Yes, exactly. I totally agree. Make that come over here a little bit more. They're malformed because it's all about the experience. Yes. Shoulder pads. Aren't M1 chips soldered to the board? How are users going to replace that? I don't know, but I actually thought this was one of the best news that I've heard in a while for people that have learned microsoldering, because this is going to, I don't know, it's really going to increase the amount of folks that need connector repairs and things like that. So much so that we had stopped teaching connectors for phones, and as of today, that is officially part of the Practical Board Repair School curriculum, that's for sure.
I'm skeptical of Apple's good faith right to repair from their previous track record. Egg their IRP. So if months later they reneged, I wouldn't be surprised. Yes. IRP did suck.
Yeah.
Sand is grounded. Okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
No.
where do you find sand?
On the ground. Oh, I see. It all makes sense to me now. How do we go back to that? Is that what that looks like? Okay, perfect. Apple can do amazing presentations, but those images look like 1999 Word clip art. Yes, they do. I mean, like, it's by design, right?
They look like they're from some trippy Adult Swim cartoon you catch at 2 a.m.
Maybe that's what the kids these days are into.
Maybe.
I don't know. It was very weird. High Voltage 12 says, I believe they're going to pre-program replacement screens to your device serial number, and it will be updated to work on the devices and in software. That is a good idea. I like that. He's saying when you get that screen in the mail, it's already programmed for your phone. But I don't know how that could work either, though, because let's say I've cracked my screen and I've ordered the new one, and you can't have my CPU able to work with both and have Face ID. So what if I decide, it's not so bad, I'm going to live with it, so I'm going to hang on to this one for 2 weeks or a month or 2 years? I don't see how they could do that feasibly. I mean, then what if your repair didn't go well, shocker, then you don't have any working phone at all, you can't go back to your old screen? I don't know about that. Hello, Dr. Jones and Louis, that uneducated one. Fairphone sells parts for a fairly expensive price individually. Do you see Apple going this route? Well, they're definitely going to be expensive. To be clear, right now, you can already buy your own iPhone 12 screen from Apple that's OEM. The price is $1,000 or whatever the price is, right? If you buy an iPhone 12, it comes with all the parts that you need. It's just too expensive for anyone to do it. So the only difference between the news today and what we already have, which is already available OEM parts that are too expensive for any of us to buy, the only difference is the ability to marry this part to this device. And given the fact that with the iPhone 13, they just said, okay, it doesn't matter, you can swap them and Face ID still works. What if they just have given up? Is that a possibility that they just don't care and now you can swap Face ID and it's going to work? Louis, do you think it's possible that they've given up?
No. If they gave up, then I would be able to buy a CD3217 from Texas Instruments. They wouldn't say we're not allowed to sell it to you. I'd be able to buy charging chips. They wouldn't say we're not allowed to sell it to you. If they had given up on it entirely, the IRP program wouldn't have an NDA attached to it. It wouldn't require that you submit the information from your customers in order to make repairs. It would make parts available to IRPs that are not available right now. If they had given up, the IRP program would be a real program.
Well, right now you can buy a CD3217. It's just too expensive because it comes on a entire donor MacBook. Somebody else's dead MacBook, right?
That's a troll. That's like if there was a requirement from the government that you buy every house in a block in order to, you had to buy the entire block in order to get the house, and you said, well, you can buy a house, you just have to buy the entire city in order to get it. I mean, it's not practical.
But it's kind of like that already. Like right now, the new iPhone 12 screen costs $1,000. Next month, it's going to cost $600. That's still like too expensive, right? That's the same. It's crazy, and nobody's going to do it, right?
Is this related to the fact that they're using OLED panels now?
Yes.
Because I mean, honestly, every company has been making the screens in their phones insanely expensive since they started using OLED. Like starting with Samsung and then everybody else. Like it's a higher quality screen. They're more expensive to make.
Yeah, but man, they're really expensive. So really expensive to break. I have serious doubts that they won't have some kind of software check in place to prevent repair shops from ordering parts in quantity to keep on hand. Well, you can't do that already with like the IRP program because with that program, they require you to send back the broken part because they can't have OEM parts in the wild. Like they got to know where it happened in that broken screen. It seems from what their own news release says is something like you can send in the old screen for recycling for a discount, which is awesome. Like that's exactly what they should do. They're trying to buy back the refurbishable screen. Sounds awesome. And especially it sounds like it's an option that you could keep it and refurbish it yourself. I just want to know, how are they going to handle what they've locked down so viciously? Face ID and Touch ID. Just what are they going to do about that? Is it just anybody can now log in with their Apple ID? What about iCloud? Are they, can we continue to apply pressure in this way? Look at what Maddie's article says. So let's look at that, the whole reason why. So let's go find that. That is here. All right, here's Maddie's article. Can you see it?
The shareholder fight that forced Apple's hand on repair rights.
Yeah. Did you read this?
It's in The Verge, so probably not.
Okay, well, let's read it because it's by Maddie, who is awesome. So she says, here's the deal. It's no coincidence that today Apple suddenly just completely did a 180 on their own lobbyists, their own forum people that are still, as of this morning, saying, no, you can't fix DIY phones. They're saying, what's the explanation? And she said, it's because there was a shareholder resolution from an environmental advocacy group. And you can click on this. I don't know if this follows over. Now, do you see where it says New Green Century Shareholder?
Well, I read that from the Green Century Funds. The whole idea that that a large shareholder of Apple was speaking out about it and filed the shareholder resolution to get them to make their products more repairable, similar to what happened with the Microsoft back in June and July.
Yeah. So then it goes on to say that companies ignore those things, that a shareholder resolution is stupid because they don't actually have any teeth. They can't do anything. So those are routinely ignored. However, I think a month ago, it says that the SEC issued new guidance concerning these shareholder requests, and there was a carve out for proposals that raise significant social policy issues. So that meant that the SEC was saying, hey, we may actually side with the shareholder proposal and actually give it some teeth so that it could bite you. And so Apple then, do you think it's a coincidence that it was the same day that the SEC was going to have to, make a decision on what to do about the shareholder proposal? That Apple was like, you know what, we're going to just, like, anybody can fix anything anytime they want. That's not coincidence, right? So the environmental group says that it would take away Apple's leverage by, if the SEC said, you know what, if the problem here has a big enough impact on society, which fixing your phone sure does for climate change, then, that's going to be the big enough thing that we're going to care about. So Maddie goes on to talk about the sort of, she details all of the things, Nathan Proctor, the stuff that you've been doing, Repair Preservation Group, the FTC, the Biden's executive order, and that Apple's kind of seeing their world caving in with this, SEC is now favorable towards repair, that they decided that's it. We're going to shut them up by just doing what we did. And the result is that the shareholder proposal, they just said, okay, we win, withdrawn. And so that goes away. So here's where Nathan Proctor, who is the full-time guy over the U.S. Public Interest Research Group, says that if he were to hazard a guess, it would be the whole compilation of the campaign that is the reason why Apple's position changed. And he says, I don't think you can point to any one thing. Why do you think they said this today?
I can't tell you why they did it on any particular day. I think they're just doing it as part of a plan to stave off antitrust regulation in general. Like they said that this plan, and Apple claimed that this plan was in the works for over a year. The IRP program's been in the works for over 2 years. I just think this was part of an ongoing plan that they were doing. Like, what's the bare minimum we can do so that it looks like we're doing enough so that we don't get regulated? Like, I think the goal is to turn it into it's a wash.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Like, if you think about it, if you're trying to figure out who started a fight between two people, and like if you're there and you can see that this person has punched that person in the face for no reason, you kind of know why. But if you're not there, you kind of ask, and well, he did this to me, and then the other one says, oh, well, yeah, but he said this horrible thing to me first, and then you kind of go, well, I guess it's a wash. It's no one's individual fault, and I think that they're trying to get low information members of Congress to just think, well, I can see that point, but they seem like they're doing enough. Like it's not even that they have to do something worthwhile; they just have to do the bare minimum in the long run. That regulators go, what are Louis and Jessa bitching about? What are people bitching about? They probably just don't know this program exists, and then they move on to the next thing.
I think that's all true, and that's fantastic. But in order for that to work, I feel like they're really going to have to let some regular people really actually change their iPhone screens, which is awesome. And that did not exist before today. And in order to do that, they're either going to have to completely change the way the screen Face ID is married to the CPU, or they're going to have to let people marry their new part to their device. You know, I've been saying for forever that like the only thing I care about for right to repair is that you cannot have parts that are serialized to the device. Anything else, whatever, you're allowed to get stuff out of a junkyard, but you can't serialize and bind a part to the device. And to me, this feels like a win because I don't know the details and I'm probably wrong, but it feels like a win because I don't see any way that they can actually do what they're saying. Somebody's got to change their iPhone screen, and for them to still be able to lock down that whole parts being serialized. They're having to give it up, it feels like. What do you think, Mark?
I think that they are going to find some way to keep this serialization. Probably a you put in your IMEI when you request to buy the parts for repair, and then they either pair it before it gets to you or some combination of something they do, before it gets to you, and then you've got to do an update, or there's going to be some way where they keep that serializing parts to a device in place. I don't think they're going to scrap it.
How can her webcam be so bad? This is a $2,500 Sony A7.
Are you using Comcast or Time Warner?
Spectrum.
Okay, Time Warner. Yeah, it's Spectrum. She has Spectrum internet.
And we are kind of in the middle of nowhere. Hey,
it's
guess
the only
what?
game in town.
It's the only game in town. Yeah, it's the only game in this whole city.
Next on the agenda, break up the duopoly of internet providers.
Yes. No, next on the agenda should be iCloud lock. I mean, what we learned today is that with enough public pressure, you can force mega corporations to do the right thing, even if they don't want to. They didn't want to do this. This is pressure. So just like a lump of clay in a potter's hands, the people can force big companies to do the right thing. So the next thing would be, let's force them to get rid of iCloud lock after the device is 2 years old. Right? What benefit does iCloud lock serve after 2 years?
It keeps the device from getting stolen.
Not after 2 years.
What if somebody steals it from me after it's 2 years old? I still care about my device, and I want the thief to not have a working iPhone from me after 2 years. I want that thief to be punished for stealing from me by having a worthless device.
Okay, 3 years.
But what if a thief steals the device when it's 3 years old? I want that thief to be punished for stealing from me. Punished good, Jessa. And not just be punished by being poor. I mean punished by being poor and not having an iPhone that he stole from me that's functional.
So you don't care about the environment.
Or the poor. No, but I mean, the argument for this is that I don't want there to be an incentive to steal the device.
Right. That's why I said after 2 years, because
Crackhead's still going to want to steal an iPhone 5.
What? No.
Crackheads will steal anything. That's why that entire argument is retarded. It's because they think that thieves actually look at the device and go, is that the iPhone 12 or 11? Oh, yeah, I'm definitely not going to stick them up with a knife. Oh, it's a 12? Oh, get my M60. Like, that's not how any of this works. People don't, like, that's why that entire line of thinking is ridiculous. Crackheads will steal anything. They don't care. They're not thinking about, they're not doing the cost-benefit analysis or the risk analysis of, is it worth doing that? Is that worthwhile? Is that a fake diamond ring or a real one? They're just running up to people and taking stuff. So the entire argument that all of these things are being done so that if this gets into the wrong hands, that part is now useless. It's always been a stupid argument.
But, at some point, it's balanced by the cost to the environment. So, yeah, crime is bad, but it's still against the law, and it's still, you're not supposed to steal somebody's phone. So you don't think there's any room? You're willing, the person that wears shoes made out of algae or whatever it is, because you care about the environment, you are going to be okay. I mean, even in this shop, there's probably, how many phones have come through us that we could have refurbished and given away that are just useless? I mean, we've got a stack of motherboards. Pick up that stack of motherboards. Just show how many are in that pile.
Oh, this?
Yeah, look at this right now. So look at this. This is a giant Halloween candy of iCloud locked motherboards. That every single one of these is a phone that was dug up out of the earth, and now you're putting them next to the sand.
Well, they belong in the earth because they were stolen.
Now, if iCloud locking went away, we would see pretty quickly a huge increase in organized theft of iPhones.
I would personally start doing that. Honestly, repair's not really paying that well anymore.
Right,
You got
yeah.
little iCloud lock. I would just walk outside with, because they're thinking they're challenging this thing in New York, where you need to provide a specific reason and say, this is why I fear for my life. This is why I should be allowed to have a gun. You could just be allowed to have a gun. And if that goes through, I would just walk around pointing a gun at people and say, give me your iPhone. Give me your iPhone. Give me your iPhone. I think even Mark would do the same thing in Jacksonville.
Mark
Jessa would become
never.
the Baron of Hanoi Falls. No,
I mean, I do it now, but it's just for donor boards, I can't sell them.
I always thought that was a horrible argument. Crackheads steal things for the sake of... They don't care. They don't even look at the stuff until after they're done. I don't think it's actually reduced to any sort of organized crime with regards to theft of devices.
I don't know. I still think some kind of a time thing could work where you could just apply, or even if you are a licensed like R1 refurbisher or something like that, where you could apply and say, we want to have all of these IMEIs unlocked, and that the answer would be yes, rather than just say, nope, we're never doing that, throw them all away.
You have a device that hasn't actively been connected to the internet with that iCloud account for 3 years. Then
Yeah, who knows? All right, what else is going on? Oh, Colin is a crackhead. All right, already thinking of us. All right, I think it's time for me to be done with this, but I'm super interested. I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So at least my perspective is that this is good. It might be shitty later, but right now, this is good because of these reasons. Number one, it creates this sense with consumers that repair is possible. Even if they don't choose to do it, they no longer are being told by the manufacturer that repair isn't possible, or that they have to go to the fancy Apple store and make an appointment. They are being told that it's so easy that they could even do it in their own kitchen with a big pair of slippers. I think that's fantastic for independent repair. It's going to make people choose the closest repair shop to them. So that's a huge win. And then number two, I don't see how they can actually, I don't see a way out for them to maintain the big problem, which is the serialized parts that they have right now. I don't think that they can let people fix their phones at home and at the same time keep parts married to the device like they are right now, so that I can't fix your Face ID when your iPhone 10 gets a drop of water in it. I just don't see it. It sounds like a win. It sounds like a win for me. I think that sounds like a great idea. I think it's going to make people, I think it's breathe life into the repair industry. It's going to make people think, all right, these manufacturers are going towards repair, even if they're being dragged that way. But the world is pro-repair. So as a career, I am now going to go towards repair, where before I was thinking, man, look, with the iPhone 13, repair's dying. I don't feel like it's dying anymore. I feel like it's reborn. It's coming to life. And I really don't want to be disappointed by this, but I think it's positive. And last, it's just because what we saw is that our voices matter. We were the ones that were crying about this and going around and stirring up the pot, especially you, Louis. And it has created pressure, and that pressure actually has produced a result with a giant corporation that is amazing. You know, with everybody, with Nathan Proctor, with the the environmental group that's sent that shareholder resolution. That stuff is all working together, and it's working, and I'm really thrilled about it.
It got us an announcement.
What's your final take?
I mean, they announced that they're going to make parts available for the M1 and announce the rest of that later next year. So it's going to be a year before I even get to see the MacBook stuff they make available. I really think they're just going to do the absolute bare minimum. There's really no information out there. Nothing has been published to make me believe otherwise. I appreciate your optimism, but I don't share it.
I have hope. Yes. Keep fighting for the right to repair. All right. Okay. I think we're done. Are we done? Yeah, we're done. We've been here all day. We got to go. Thank you, Louis, for making time to chat about this. And I'm super excited to see where it goes. But I'm super jazzed about it. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be better than we have. That's for sure. All right. Now I don't know how to hit stop. So
you don't. I get to hit stop. You don't. The stream stops when I
stuck.
decide it's over.
That's
right.
Hostage.
You're stuck.
I'm being held hostage. Give me
you
the
actually
stand.
are. I had something I was going to say, and I forgot what it was. It was a good thing, but I forgot. Crap.
Was it about sand?
It's about the house he's going to buy in Jacksonville.
Louis has a PhD in saltiness.
Yeah, Mark's trying to get me to move to Jacksonville, and I've been bringing it up. And when I do, Erica says, "But Florida bad. But it's going to be underwater next year."
It's all the bath salts you care to smoke.
Like I was just there, and it was cold and super rainy.
Not cold.
You just okay. Florida's never cold. You made that up.
It was cold. It was definitely cold. Did you know that Mark went to your favorite place on Earth last week?
Disney World?
Yeah, with Sunny.
Oh wow!
And he tried. He had this whole plan. He was trying for like a whole week. You know, hey. I hate Disney World.
I like Disney World. It's just you need to book the good theme parks 2 or 3 months in advance to go.
Who likes?
Oh yeah, we booked it in like February.
Ah.
Yeah, and I changed my last statement to you. That was before they gave us 10 days worth of, or 10 people's worth of free tickets for 2 days. Now I find that to be an acceptable compensation, and I think the trip was a success.
Did you know that a Disney employee stole Mark's friend's keys out of her locked bag?
What?
Well, out of the stroller that was left outside.
Same thing. Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Florida. I mean, the airport is a disaster. I mean, it's like
who goes to the airport?
I go to the airport.
Oh yeah, people
the
from
airport
New York.
has lines. Like, get ready to wait in lines. I remember looking at this kid and thinking, like, man, that kid's getting ready to wait in lines for a week. Like, what's the shortest line that you actually waited in without cheating?
Well, no. Once you hit about like 7 o'clock at night, there's no line. Like it says 15-minute wait. That's the 15 minutes it takes to get up to where you can board the ride.
Kids sleep at 7 o'clock at night. That's the what.
Oh, now I remember what I was. Jessa, I posted on Reddit. It was the top upvoted post in one of those threads about this. That if this program is not a bullshit program and it's a real program, I'll buy an M1 MacBook and use it as my daily driver computer, and I'll stream the video from it.
Yes. Yes, this is going to be great. I can't wait. Wait.
It's never going to happen, though.
Can I, when you get your M1 MacBook, I want to open up yours and reprogram your BIOS to have that John Robinson in the red jacket like you did to me.
Oh, that was funny.
We'll do that little deal.
All right, I'll see you later, Jessa. Thanks for
everything. All right. Bye.